The one thing PC building channels never seem to cover is how to secure your custom PC after you finish building, and I'm here to change that. Since I work day in and day out as a cybersecurity professional, I thought I would try to fill that security gap with some basic steps on how to secure your Windows PC. So the best place to start your security journey is going to be in the Windows Security app, which you can find just by searching Windows Security and clicking right there on the application. It'll bring up this window with all of these options. Some of these may have caution symbols, others may have green check marks. It really depends on where you're at in your system's lifecycle. If it's a new install, it's probably going to have a few alerts that you're going to have to address. If you've previously configured this, then excellent, you can move on to other parts of this video, but this is for the people that have not configured this yet. You want to click into virus and threat protection, and we want to see if any scans have been run on the system. Now, these scans should be happening on a scheduled basis, and if a scan has not recently happened, we need to investigate why that scan has not occurred. So I'm going to go down to search, and we're going to search for task scheduler. We're going to enter into the task scheduler. I had it open previously, but you're going to come up here to task scheduler library. You're going to open the Microsoft folder, the Windows folder, and then you're going to scroll all the way down to Windows Defender. You're going to look at Windows Defender scheduled scan. Notice it doesn't have a trigger or a run time. You're going to right click, hit properties, go to triggers, hit new, and then from here you can begin the task on a schedule, daily, weekly, monthly. I would suggest at least weekly. You can set the start date and the time. Again, I recommend at least weekly. You can set it for a time that's not going to be bothersome to you if you're not going to be using your system. Whenever works for you, set the schedule up. Once you set it up, hit OK, and then that scan will happen on a regular basis at that scheduled time. Go ahead and click into virus and threat protection settings. Make sure all of these are turned on. These are important virus and threat protection features of Windows. Just make sure these are on. That's really all you have to do. And then virus and threat protection updates. Make sure that the security intelligence is up to date. You can manually check for updates on the security intelligence, making sure that you have all of the latest heuristics for viruses and different types of malicious things that exist out there on the internet. Don't worry about account protection right now. We'll get into that in a little bit, but next one is firewall and network protection. The firewall is an important part of any type of system security, and a firewall is going to block any unwanted traffic through something called an access control list. A very complex system, but Windows comes pre-configured with a firewall, and all you have to do is make sure that it's turned on. If it says that the firewall is not on for any of these network types, go ahead and click into it and click on, go back, and repeat for any of these that do not say on. You want all three of these to say on. I cannot stress this enough. App and browser control is next. Reputation-based protection is a system that is going to check apps and files, and it's going to see if Microsoft Windows recognizes that publisher or that application developer. And it's going to notify you if it sees any type of application that it doesn't recognize. You'll still be able to manually tell the system to launch it, but it's going to prevent any misclicks or any type of virus from being installed mistakenly. It's going to make it so that you are purposefully installing that software that may not be trusted. You want to make sure the rest of these are turned on as well. These are important parts of protecting your system. They might be a little bit annoying sometimes, but a lot of times people don't understand how much happens in the background to keep your system safe. So by turning these off, you are really opening yourself up to potential security problems and having your system compromised by a malicious actor. Back to device security. Core isolation is going to help protect the Windows kernel, and memory integrity is going to help keep malicious code from being inserted into your high security processes. you want to keep this turned on. Your TPM module, you want to make sure that's working correctly and it's showing up here in Windows. That's going to monitor your system for any types of hardware changes or tampering while the system's been off. And it also works with BitLocker to encrypt your drives if you would like to go that route. That's everything in the Windows Security app that we need to check for basic configuration. Moving on, I'm gonna open the Settings application, and I'm gonna go ahead and click into my local account up here. If you used a Windows account to sign in, this may not apply to you, but if you're using a local account, you wanna go to Sign In Options. You wanna make sure one of these secure sign-in processes is used for you to sign into your account. That could be facial recognition, fingerprint, a PIN, security key, or some type of password. This is an important layer of defense because if someone does compromise your system and is trying to log in to your account, this secure sign-in is going to prevent those people from getting into your system. Configure one of these. I can't stress that enough. It's very important to have this security in place. So to make this next change, you're gonna need to have administrative privileges. So if you don't have an admin account, you might wanna go create one with a very secure password, and then you can come back and type in computer management, and we're gonna access this application. There we're gonna go to local users and groups, and then into users. Now, if you see all of these user accounts that exist, I only created one, which is my Tectonic Systems Administrator account. However, there are 3 other accounts that are on this system from Microsoft. They're created by default and they exist, but you want to make sure that these accounts are disabled because you do not want to have extra attack vectors from accounts that you didn't know were enabled, and they should come disabled by default, but it's always good practice to make sure that they are actually disabled. The reason you have to come into computer management is because if you go to the control panel, you access user accounts, again, user accounts, and then you say manage another account. They don't show up here. You can't access them from this window, and this is where a lot of people will normally go to manage user accounts. So you have to go to this computer management window, and to ensure that they're disabled, highlight and right click, go to properties, and make sure this account is disabled is checked. Do that for each of these 3 and make sure they're all disabled. This account down here is for your Windows Defender application guard, so just let that one alone. All these other ones, however, you need to disable. Now there is another thing you need to check, and certain versions of Windows has this feature. We're gonna go to Settings. We're gonna scroll down to Remote Desktop. You wanna make sure that this is off, unless if you are explicitly using your system in a remote desktop fashion, you want to make sure that this is off. That way, no one is able to remotely access your system. If you turn this on, it's gonna allow your system to be remotely accessed. And this is handy if you have the right security in place and you want to access your system from outside of your home using the remote desktop protocol. However, this is not going to be applicable to most people. This is more of an advanced configuration feature. You definitely want to have security features in place, but make sure that this is off. Also, use trusted sites on the internet. Only click on links that you recognize, as that is the easiest way for an attacker to gain access to your system. With those things, you should be well on your way to having a very secure experience using Windows and be covered from a lot of the modern attack types. These are some of the easiest things that you can do to assist in keeping yourself, your system, and your identity safe from malicious actors. I have a lot more tips and tutorials about PC building and configuration, and you can check those out by clicking here. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.